Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. I am so glad you're with us today. What we're talking about today is how the pandemic has adversely affected so many people's lives and their health. Because I get this question all the time. And in fact, it was funny. Just this morning, I got a call and somebody wanted to do a podcast with me. And they want to talk about how the pandemic has affected women who are over 50. That's what the podcast is all about, this one person. And I said, well, listen to the show today because that's exactly what we're talking about today. And not just women over 50, but everybody. And we've all been affected. No one in the world, this is what's cool, no one in the world has not been affected by the pandemic. And so there are things that we need to talk about that you need to start getting back on track because I think things are starting to come back alive again. Things are coming out. And so we're going to have to get ready for this. And there's big issues. There's big issues with the employees. Restaurants are going nuts trying to hire employees. I feel because people got laying around, they got lazy and they don't feel like working. And that happens. And that's a side effect, adverse health side effect of not doing anything. The less you do, the less you want to do. And so I believe that this is a big impact on people because everybody's getting lazy. They've toned down their lifestyle. So they're spending less money and they're going, well, if I get to lay around and I don't have to work so hard, well, then I'll just lay around. It's not good for your health. And so that's one of the aspects that we want to talk about today too. So stress has come with this pandemic, obviously for all of us. It's affected my offices. It's affected my staff, getting people to work. People, they get a little runny nose. They got to go out and get tested before they can come back to work. So taking people's temperatures. It's a whole new world that we're in, and it's very stressful. It's not the world we knew, and I don't know when it's going to end. I hope it does soon. So these changes take a toll on your health mentally and physically. So there's a few things I want you to start thinking about if you're having these side effects and what you need to do to fix them. So first one is going to be real obvious, anxiety. A lot of aspects of the pandemic make you anxious and worried more than usual. I worry about my patients. I worry about my staff. I worry about my family. So we all have these worries that have come in. So if you have trouble sleeping or you notice changes in your appetite, your energy, it's probably a good idea to take a break from the news and take a break from social media. And this is important, and I did this. When it first happened, of course, as an on-air newscaster and a health reporter, I was watching every newscast I could. And I was getting so much conflicting information, and I was getting so confused. And I finally said, I have to stop this. It's not good for my health. Because it literally was changing day to day, so any information I had was obsolete by the time I got on the air with it. A lot of information, not all of it. And so I finally had to take a break from the news because I couldn't take it anymore. It was just too much input for me. So if you're feeling anxious about things, you really just need to stop. Put on some cartoons, put on some old sitcoms, and maybe just kind of immerse yourself in a different world and get away from all that input because it is very dangerous for your health. Find a hobby, go for a walk, listen to Dr. Joe's podcast, drjoe.com. We have over 1,500 hours of podcasts. If you're a podcast junkie, Dr. Joe for the health of it, and listen to those podcasts. And it's going to take you away from that daily news about the pandemic, and you're also going to learn things. Instead of just watching cartoons, let's say, you're actually going to learn something that you can utilize. Every show, you're going to learn something about your health that you're going to be able to use. Along with the anxiety comes depression. Hardships caused by the pandemic make it real tough. People feel isolated. I'm noticing on our website, we get a lot more questions about, do you work with people that are depressed? Do you work with people that are antisocial? Do you work with people that have become hermits? They don't want to go out anymore because, you were told for a while not to go out. And now when you do go out, you kind of forget how. I see that in my life. We went to an event the other day and I forgot how to socialize. And I was Mr. Social. I'd be out to parties. My friend Larry used to call me Showtime. Showtime, come on, put on a show for us. Come on, Showtime. And I don't feel like going to socialize anymore because I forgot how. And so these are things that can cause problems, and you might feel sad, hopeless, cranky. So it's important that you discuss these issues. Don't keep them locked up. If you have an issue, discuss it. It's okay to talk about it. There's nothing shameful about saying, hey, listen, I'm really depressed right now. Hey, listen, I'm in a weird mood right now. Hey, listen, I'm not sure why, but I'm not feeling secure right now. It's okay to discuss these things. Don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. It's not emasculating. Go ahead and talk those things out with people. If you feel down for several days, or especially if you're thinking about hurting yourself, that's when you need professional help. A couple of days depressed, that's okay. But if you start thinking about hurting yourself or others, you really start to consider maybe talking to a hotline, maybe a mental health hotline, because I don't want you getting to that point. Because the brain does weird stuff. The brain is nothing but a sack of chemicals. And when those chemicals are off, it's going to adversely affect your health and maybe somebody else's. Okay, so really start thinking about that. Now, what I find when I deal with patients with depression, anxiety, there's always a digestive component that's not being discussed. So, for example, you might have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. Anybody have that? Raise your hands. That goes along with a digestive thing. Because what happens is your stomach's main job is to take proteins, whether it comes from a carrot or a steak. And proteins, when you look under a microscope, look like a ball of yarn. And the stomach acids unravel the proteins and chop them up into something called amino acids. There's 22 amino acids. And different amino acids have different jobs in the body. So the amino acid tryptophan, one of its jobs is to create a neurotransmitter in your brain called serotonin. Serotonin makes you happy. When serotonin is low, you might be depressed. You might have ADD. You might have anxiety. So we can give you medications to utilize the little bit of serotonin that you have, or the approach we like to take in our offices is actually fix the digestive problem so that you can break the proteins into amino acids to produce the neurotransmitters. So if you have an emotional, disorder, an emotional issue, think about your digestive system. Are you burping? Do you have gas? Do you have acid reflux? Scratchy throat? Acid can come up into your throat. Do you have constipation, diarrhea? You might want to come see us for that, because many times the health problems that you have with digestion are physical, not chemical. The stomach can push up against the diaphragm. The valve, there's a valve called the ileocecal valve in your intestines that can spasm. How about a pinched nerve in your low back? That's the nerve that controls the digestive system. So if you have a pinched nerve, the brain may not be able to talk to the digestive system, and that can affect your digestion of food and your absorption of nutrients, which can affect the amino acids, which can affect the neurotransmitters, which can affect your brain. So many, many times when you have an emotional issue, there's a digestive component that everyone seems to overlook. Just this week, I had three of the many patients we saw, three patients cry when I told them what I just told you. And they cried tears of joy. And all three of them said the same thing. Finally, someone's giving me hope. There's something it's not me. I'm not crazy. There's something wrong with me that's causing these emotional issues, and the answer is yes. And they were very excited, and when we worked on them, all three of them were very excited with the results. So anyway, if you have depression, anxiety, yes, it could be pandemic related, but it could also be a physical issue with the digestive system. And you also may be eating bad foods. If you're eating alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, chips, sounds like your diet, it's real easy to fall into that. Well, one of the reasons is we're not going out much, so you really aren't so concerned about your aesthetics. So you put on a few pounds, I'm not going out much anyway, what do I care? Well, there's a health component to that. And so it's not just aesthetics, it's also health and physiology. So consider that if you're putting on weight, if you're eating bad foods, you might want to say, okay, maybe it's time to go back to eating the right foods. Supplements. I can't imagine that somebody's not taking supplements. To me, it's incomprehensible. So the minimum supplements I recommend would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're two powders. They taste great. I wake up first thing in the morning. It's the first thing I do. I've trained myself over the many years I've been taking it that this is what I desire in the morning. It's a habit now. I get up, Super Greens and Essential Source. I got a little ball jar, a little mason jar. I shake it up with some coconut milk, ramen milk, drink it right down. Sometimes I want to get crazy. I'll put my 5 drops of vitamin D in there and take that as well. Ooh, because I get crazy. This morning, I actually took a frozen banana and mixed it in with my Super Greens and Essential Source, made a smoothie out of it. So that's the minimum supplements. And what I hear time and time again from patients is, Dr. Joe, how did I ever live without this stuff? My life was just so blah. My health was blah. And I started taking just the Super Greens, the Essential Source. Amazing results. Then we have things like nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels, gives you a ton of energy, increases circulation to your brain, to your reproductive organs. In fact, I'm going to do a podcast for this one group, and it's going to be on sex after 50. What happens to people's bodies when it changes for men and women. And one of the things I recommend when I do these lectures on sexual issues is we talk about nitric oxide. Nitric oxide opens up the blood vessels for men and women, and that helps increase a lot of good things happening. It's a family show, so I'll save that for an adult podcast. But the nitric oxide's amazing, and it gives you a ton of energy. I got to be really careful when I take it. I really can't take it past about 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I can't sleep. It gives me such a burst of energy. So nitric oxide is a supplement you might want to consider as well. B vitamins. Many people are deficient in B vitamins. I take digestive enzymes with every cooked meal that I eat because as I'm older, my enzymes are dropping. Digestive enzymes help you break down your food more efficiently, thus producing more capabilities to produce neurotransmitters, and that helps my brain work. And so if we're talking about the adverse effects of the pandemic, the effects it's having on your body, many times there's an emotional component. And many times that's easily worked with by fixing the digestive system physically and taking supplements. Headaches is another one. Very common symptom when you worry, if you're uncertain about what's going to happen with the pandemic. Again, in addition to unplugging, you got to get away from social media and news. You can be more active, meditate, chiropractic care. If you have headaches, folks, I can't imagine you're not going to a chiropractor because chiropractic care does wonders for many headache patients. It's quick, it's easy, it's inexpensive, it's relatively safe. Why you're not getting a chiropractic evaluation if you have headaches, totally beyond me. Okay, I've been in practice now coming up on 37 years. I've seen thousands and probably tens of thousands of patients. And when I see them come in and they have neck pain and back pain and headaches and numbness and tingling and muscle weakness and restless leg syndrome and they've never had a chiropractic evaluation, I think to myself, wow, in my world, that's the first thing I would recommend. Let's get a chiropractic evaluation, see if you have pinched nerves, and let's unpinch them. Relatively simple, easy process. So again, if you have these issues, you might want to make an appointment to come see us. We have offices, Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. You can book an appointment right online, drjoe.com, and we'd be happy to set you up a consultation. Consultation is no charge, but if we do find something we think we can treat, we want to get treating you right away. So you can come in and get evaluated, but if we do find something we think we can treat, I don't want you saying, well, let me go think about it. You can if you want to, but I'd rather you don't because you're wasting my time, you're wasting your time. Don't waste time. Get in there. Let's start right away. The initial visit used to be $375. We've reduced it to $199. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, report of findings, going over the x-rays with you, nutrition evaluation. So if you want to do it, you need to do it quickly, by the way, because as things are unfolding, we're going to stop running that special. Just so you know, it's going to happen soon. We do accept insurances. We accept car accidents, sports injury cases, medical. We have a medical division. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, go to the website, drjoe.com. We have, scroll down just a little bit. You'll see all 4 of our offices. You can click on that, make an appointment right online or call us. The number's right there, and we'll get you set up for an appointment. But chiropractic care for headaches and neck pain, absolute no-brainer in most cases. You can avoid trigger foods. You're going to find out if you're having anxiety, depression, headaches, muscle spasms. Think about what you ate, and chances are you're going to find a correlation. Caffeine, real biggie. Caffeine can lead to headaches. Caffeine can lead to anxiety. Caffeine can lead to sleep loss. So you go to our website, drjoe.com. There's something that says patient forms. Under clinics, patient forms. Click on that. You'll see something called a diet diary. Print it up. It's free. Print it up and start writing down what you're eating. Everything. If you have a piece of gum, if you have a candy, if you have a sip of soda, write it down. Because there are certain components of those foods that might trigger your pain. Aspartame, artificial sweetener, big one. Monosodium glutamate, big one. So even though you think I'm just going to have this breath mint, it could have artificial sweetener in it that can cause headaches, which can lead to anxiety, which can lead to depression. Follow? So write down everything you eat, and then in the margin, write down your symptoms. I had a headache today. I had anxiety today. I couldn't sleep today. Many times after just a few times, you'll see a correlation. Every time I have a diet soda, I have a headache. Every time I eat Chinese food, I have a headache or I feel anxious. Every time I eat chocolate, I can't sleep. Caffeine's one of my trigger foods. That's why I put it in there. Dehydration can be a trigger food or lack of trigger food, I guess. Many times we don't realize we're dehydrated because as we get older, our sense of thirst diminishes. And so many times you don't get thirsty and you're already in a state of dehydration. So think about how much fluid you're drinking. Alcohol, of course, big trigger for emotional issues as well as physical issues. Monosodium glutamate, we talked about that. So we did a show on anxiety. If you go to our website, drjoe.com, and just type in whatever your issue is: anxiety, headaches, female health issues, pain. Type in what your issues are. Chances are we've done a show or 2 or 3 on that topic. And you can go to the website, listen to all the podcasts you want. It's absolutely free. I've had people listen to well over 1,500, 2,000 hours of podcasts we have there. They've listened to every one. And they come out of there really knowledgeable. I've had students, medical students, chiropractic students, nutrition students, just gobble up the podcast. And they'll say, Dr. Joe, I learned more in one podcast than I learned in a whole year of school when it comes to natural health. And I hear it all the time from chiropractors, medical doctors. So the podcasts are drjoe.com. You could listen there. We have audio and video. Or on your podcast service, type in Dr. Joe for the health of it. And you'll be able to listen to the podcast and pick the topics you want or listen to them all. If you got 1,500 hours to give, do it. You're going to learn a whole lot. You can be little Dr. Joe, mini Dr. Joe, people say. I want to be like you, Dr. Joe. Great. Start listening to all the podcasts first. Then get 12 years of college. Then be in practice for 37 years. And then study this every single day. And then you could be just like me. Nothing special about it. Other people, when they're under stress, we're talking about what pandemic has done to your body. They may start noticing hair loss. Many times, once you relieve the stress, the hair grows back. When you're under stress, the body uses a gland called the adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands, there's 2 of them, produce something called cortisol. Now, cortisol is your stress hormone. Now, long-term cortisol release, long-term stress can lead to long-term adverse health problems. Hair loss, bags under the eyes, belly fat. So we can test your cortisol. If you go to call the office and ask for Kayla, actually, she'll set you up a saliva test. We'll send you a kit, no matter where you are in the world. We can send you a kit. It shows you how to spit in these little tubes throughout the day. And we measure your cortisol level throughout the day. And it should start out high and drop off as the day goes on. If it stays higher, gets higher, we've got a real serious stress issue going on. And cortisol can be correlated with every disease known to man. So you might want to consider, if you have that, let's do a cortisol test on you. If you have it, we need to stop the cycle that's causing this. One of the supplements I take for my adrenal glands is called Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support. And it's another one, again, I can't imagine not going a day without, or going a day without. So Super Green Essential Source, Nitric Oxide, Adrenal Support. This is the building of my core supplements that do wonders when it comes to stress. Because when you're under stress, you use up a lot more nutrients like B vitamins. You got to replace those. Dental issues, you might have clenching of your teeth. You might have TMJ pain. That can cause headaches. Very simple. Chiropractic care, we've seen tons of cases with TMJ issues. Many times we need to adjust or put the jaw back in place. That takes the stress off the jaw. There's nerve endings in your jaw called proprioceptive fibers. And if I remember correctly, there's, don't quote me, 32 pair of proprioceptive fibers in your jaw. And they tell you where you are in space. They give you coordination and balance. So if you're under stress and you're grinding your teeth, affecting the TMJ, it can affect your balance and your coordination. You're not clumsy, folks. There's something affecting the nervous system. And so a lot of times people say, I'm clumsy, I fall a lot, I'm uncoordinated. Once we fix their sacroiliac joint, their temporomandibular joint, the nervous system, they get that coordination back. Well, they didn't get it back. They just stopped losing it, so to speak. Skin issues a lot of times happens when you're stressed out. Washing your hands. Of course, we should be washing our hands, but that can lead to dryness. So one thing you want to do is wash them and dry them very well because, if they're wet and it dries on your skin, it can cause chapping. But I use coconut oil. Extra virgin organic coconut oil. Just rub it on your hands. It absorbs pretty quickly. Works wonders. And coconut oil is great for dry eyes. Just put it around your eyes at night. Just rub it on the skin around your eyes. It can be used when it comes to romance because a lot of times they'll talk about lubricants as we get older. Sometimes there's issues there. And there's products you can buy, but they have hormone-disrupting chemicals in them. You don't want to put a hormone-disrupting chemical on a part of your body that is pretty much driven by hormones, especially thin skin for both men and women. So coconut oil is very good for that as well, but that's an aside. Eye strain, folks, shut off the bright lights, especially now we have fluorescent lights everywhere. I know in my office I have one lamp, and when I'm doing my work, Garrett works in the studio here a lot. He has a background light that we use for filming TV stuff. He'll shut the top lights off and just put a background light on. So lowering the lights is going to be very helpful for eye strain because that can come along with, we're talking about adverse effects of the pandemic. You're getting a lot more screen time than you used to. And so lowering the lights can help that as well. A lot of people putting on weight. Okay, a lot of people are eating bad foods that they're locked up or in a pandemic because they're stressed out. When you're stressed out, what do? You want to eat foods that give you pleasure, that stimulate the dopamine neurotransmitters in your brain. Dopamine is the chemical in your brain that gives you pleasure. So what's a quick, easy, legal fix to increase your dopamine levels? How about sugar? Sugar is a quick, easy, legal fix. And it stimulates the dopamine receptor sites, the nucleus accumbens, and you get high from it. So I do strongly recommend that if you're putting on weight, it's because you're eating bad foods. Now, on our website, drjoe.com, we have a 21-day jumpstart plan for people that want to lose weight. If you just go under services, you'll see it. And that's what I recommend for people if they just want to get jump-started. We jump-start you for 21 days, and then we teach you how to go back to normal again, or maybe better normal than you've ever had. So if you have that issue, you can go to the website, look that up. We can actually send it to you. We can ship that. It's real easy. If you go to the website again, drjoe.com, type in the word weight loss, listen to the shows we've done on weight loss. You'll get a lot of good insight. I don't want to turn this whole show into a weight loss issue. Neck pain and back pain, of course, as chiropractors, pain management. I'm board certified in chiropractic, orthopedics, pain management, double board certified in nutrition, certified in traumatic brain injuries, retired dietitian. So I've got a big background in natural health here. Obviously, 7-8 degrees now, I think. Pain has become a big issue. And a lot of patients are coming to us in pain. Stress is causing it. Sitting around is causing it. You sit around, then you become active again. You're a weekend warrior. That causes it. Number one treatment for back pain and neck pain, most effective, least expensive, is chiropractic care. So if you're not getting chiropractic care and you have pain, I cannot comprehend that statement. Knowing what I know, I can't comprehend someone saying, Dr. Joe, I have pain and I'm not getting quality chiropractic care. I don't know why. Do it. So if you want to make an appointment to come see us, again, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. We'd love to be your doctors. Go to the website, drjoe.com. You can book right online. You have all 4 offices, little maps of each office. Click on it, book the appointment right online. We will call you probably the next day or that day, let you know if that appointment is available. If not, we'll work with you. The initial visit was $375. We've reduced it to $199. That's exam, x-rays, consultation, report of findings, going over the x-rays, nutrition evaluation. But don't expect it to be done in one visit. If we accept you as a patient, we're probably going to put you on a treatment plan. Don't come in thinking it's going to be one and done. Don't waste your time. It's not going to happen. So if you're serious about wanting to get well, drjoe.com. Book an appointment right now. The supplements we talked about, Super Green, Essential Source, Nitric Oxide, B Complex, Adrenal Support, a bunch of others, men's hormone support, vitamin D, which everybody should be taking, by the way, digestive enzymes. All of those are on the website, drjoe.com. And if you have questions, send them to me through the website. A little bot will pop up and say, hey, you got any questions? Type in your question, give us your email address, and I will get back to you. One of us, Garrett, answers a lot of them too. We'll get back to you as quickly as possible with the answer to your question. So hopefully we become your source of healthcare information. That's the goal. And we work with a lot of other doctors. So if you have health issues and it's something we can't treat, we can send you out to other doctors who I would go to personally if I had a problem. Because that's a question people ask. Who would you go to, Dr. Joe, if you needed surgery, if you needed counseling, if you needed dental work? I go to the people, I'll tell you the people that I've used in the past or people that I haven't used them, I trust them. So again, the website's a great source of information, drjoe.com. So a lot of people are having adverse effects from the pandemic. Folks, you got to get the nervous system working, the digestive system working, and good nutrition. That's the core of getting well and staying well. If you have any questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment, come see us. What's the website? drjoe.com. Folks, follow us on social media at Dr. Joe Esposito. That's your homework for today. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll catch you in a second.